Welcome to the podcast of All Means All. In this episode, Silvia Dell'Anna, Ines Boban, Charlie Moreno-Romero, Shichong Li, and Maryam Mohammadi will talk about participation of children and young people in learning and community development.
So it's not easy for me to explain the wonderful experience that we have experienced in the institute and school during 20 years with all my feelings and, because of maybe the cultural differences and school conditions and whatever. But now we're here to talk about the story of the school and ask Baran and invited her to be here next to me and talk about the experience of you about the school and what did you get, and maybe you explain it, one of the projects that you were participated there. So thank you for your accepting, and now I'm listening to you.
Sure, yeah. Hi, I'm Baran. I'm one of the first graduates of the participatory school. During our high school years, during our studies in participatory school, we always had to do some projects. We had some project-based learning. But in our high school years, we were told that we have to do community-based participation and projects. So we were told that we have some options to pick from, the project titles, and children's malnutrition was one of the projects that was proposed to us. So our class, we decided to work on children's malnutrition, but we didn't know anything about it, so we had to do some research and background research. So we learned that we have different types of malnutrition, such as hunger, obesity, or vitamins or mineral malnutrition. And we found out that in Iran, our children are suffering from vitamins and mineral malnutrition. So of course, we also had to do our research about that. So we started to read more about vitamins, the effects of vitamins if they're lacking in human bodies, specifically in children's bodies. So I think we did 3 to 5 months of research. And then we decided to start actually working on the project. So we need to do raising awareness to the community and start actually to participate with the community itself. So after doing our research, we found out that based on the social context and socioeconomic circumstances of Iran, we can use milk and egg as a supplement for vitamins and minerals malnutrition, and we needed to raise awareness about that. So we needed to tell families, tell schools, tell teachers, tell children, everyone that it's good to drink milk and 2 eggs daily so you can actually support that vitamin and mineral needs in your body. But we didn't know how to do it because Iran is a vast country and so many people from different backgrounds, from different understanding, different learning levels. So we started to talk to the Ministry of Health so we could have like a program or initiative to start some campaigns with schools. But unfortunately, that wasn't successful. The government didn't support us. So we started to ask for help from the people themselves. So we started to talk to our families, parents inside school. We encouraged them to do some blood tests and see what they're lacking, if there are any vitamins that they need to, replace, or they need to do some sort of care that they need to do. And then we started to talk to our Iranian actors and actresses so they could help us with the Raising Awareness campaign. We invited them to the school. We talked about the project and the importance of this project with them. And then we asked them to take a picture with a glass of milk. And then we had an art gallery in Tehran, the capital, It was like an exhibition that everyone were invited from our families, from the school, anyone else, other schools, the celebrities, everyone were invited. And it was a great art gallery. You were there, I think. Yeah.
I remember.
And we had so good feedback. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, I got graduated and I had to leave the project. I couldn't be a part of it anymore. But this is how we define participation in our school. If I'm bringing an idea, if I'm starting something, it's okay if I leave it behind. It's okay if someone else continue doing it. It's fine if I'm not a part of it anymore, because the idea is the most important thing, and what is important is that somebody is actually doing it, keep doing it. And now we have some group chats on WhatsApp, Telegram, and other platforms where families share their recipes on foods that are enriched with vitamins and minerals and are based on egg, right? Yeah, it's egg-based foods. And it's amazing because every day I wake up and I open the group chat and there's lots of colorful foods with recipes and with so many information that it's actually good. So yeah, this is one of my experiences about participation with the community. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Baran for her incredible example of taking part on a research project. But there is a question that I want to ask you all. Was Baran still a student when she participated on the research project? I think the answer is no, because she was the participant, right, of the project. So when we're navigating Baran's identities, I think her identity has changed from being a student to a participant of a project. So actually, that's why we have made a little bit change about our working title. Our original working title is Participation of Students in School and Community Development. Now it becomes Participation of Children and Young People in Learning and Community Development. So if you picture students in classroom, you might think that they are passive recipients of teacher's instruction, and they are just sit there in classroom, listen to what teacher teach them. So once Michel Foucault suggested that knowledge is power, and when teacher teach in classroom, teacher also impose their power on children. So we would like to relocate these power and dynamics and to kind of situate children and adults in power dynamics and power imbalance. And we want to kind of think about how we can actually empower children and young people in their learning and in their community development. And also about how they can actually make a change for the whole society, not just for school, not just for community, but also for the whole society.
Yeah, you were already talking now about the question of power. Who has the power? And very often we are used in the old stories that there is somebody having power over a moment. And it was so impressive with Baran's example that the very powerful ones, like the ministry, was not cooperating. So we then you started to use another kind of power, because we have lots of powers, and the other kind of power is power with, and join with others to find a way to get along with your project, for example. And there's also a power called inner power, and I think we could see it with this participant of a project, that the inner power is something only you can minimize or maximize. It's in you. There lies a power to be active, for example. And power 4 means we will be engaged for a better future, for example, which is a topic of our time, I think. So David Corton once said, if you want to change the future, which always means change the present also, then you have to change the story. And the story we are very much used to is hurry up, be quick, come to the standards, all what we are used to, time is money, be quick. And if the story is, no, time is life, and it's a shared process, then we change something in this kind of story. And who helps us is the discourse about decolonizing schools. And nowadays we have books saying unlearn education. That means be aware of the structures which push us into that, what you described as a hindering position. You are just passive, waiting for the instruction. No, we need the chance in schools, in our own learning processes. It starts in kindergartens, I think. And then out of it, be part of the community. And it will be so important, like the impact of the example Baran gave to us. It will change lives and habits or rituals and ways we act together. I think we have a lot of challenges today which are on the ecological or social levels. So the old term that we were using all the time, like it needs a village to raise a child, now needs something else, saying it needs the children to raise the villages, or let's say as a synonym of communities. And that's what we try to find out. How can we come to a state like this?
So, in addition to Baran's exam, I just want to tell you that maybe participation is involving and including to collaborate and to cooperate for example, an activity. So the participation is founded on fundamental maybe beliefs such as responsibility, or maybe think, maybe express, or the thought or opinion that we have. And also in humanistic approach that I come out from this approach, just we believe that no one can decide for the children alone. And the combination of the teachers, students, families, local communities is very important in this part. So we aimed our project, participation project in our school, just we aimed on development and improvement of the lives of young children, and also attention to the government, to social issues. So I just want to share some examples that I categorized in 3 categories, such as school project, community project, and also national projects. But I just maybe tell you just a little, and just want to share with you. In a school project, we just try to emphasize the role of the families and the as a parents, so sometimes as a grandparents, and sometimes the relationship between these groups to children and teachers. So one of these projects that I want to tell you is the reading books group project in a circle. We also, in a participation path, parents just involving and considering the regular training, and they also are successful to accompanying and including some, a reading book in a circle, and just they review some resources, and also just when they need some helps, just announce us, and we are there, and we help them, and just sometimes we accompanying a facilitator or teacher with them to help them, and also which result in developing this some projects or collective collaboration, which were organized by themselves, and it helped them to connect with each other and keep them passion alive among children and families. Another project that I want to tell you about the collective trip that we have, and we prepared the trip, children, parents, and sometimes we encourage them to include their aunts, their grandparents as well, to accompany with us, and they just had lots of challenges with them at the first. But now we just, tell them to be patient, to just wait to the right time to talk with each other, and also identifying the strengths and the weakness of each person. We learned after each task evaluates their process, and we asked them to be patient, and at that time, identifying the strengths and the weaknesses, effective conversation with at the suitable, appropriate circumstances. So that's very interesting. When they finish the project, they sit around each other, next to each other, and talk about the weaknesses, the strengths, and then they let them to think and let them to believe themselves. They trust each other. Maybe it's not happened at the beginning of the project also. And then after we realized that we can also involve gather or participation of father and grandparents in our school. 2 projects just came out from this project which name was Fathers Movement, and also Grandparents Project, that were result of this thought. And I want to tell you and describe you the one community project in our school. We are working at a participatory school, and we believe the participation much more than everything else. So some of them is including children in the school, but some of them is communicated with the local community. So one of them is traveling educators. I think maybe 20 years ago, around 20 years ago, we had a project that we worked with the people in the middle class of the society, the south of Tehran, Iran. And we believe that we have to be open towards the education and also not work only with the children. We have to include mothers, fathers, shopkeepers, the people just walking in the street, or maybe the youth or young teenagers, that's name of that. The name of that project was 13 Aban, and also we work with them to respect their beliefs and also see their abilities. And participations cannot just exist without democratic atmosphere, So they were talented, and they believed their talent and abilities, and their abilities and talents just released. This project is continued till now, and now these women at that space, at that area, are working and just preparing some ceremonies, celebration for all, nation projects in Iran. And also they have a program in public places, and they just gather in the libraries, such as reading book. And most of the time they ask us to tell them some new books in novel, literature, education, psychology, or whatever, And it was very interesting for us that another project came out of this project, that which names was Safe Road Project, because we aimed to reduce number of the accidents of urban accidents in Iran or in Tehran, and make the roads safer. So we educated the children at Sizdayaban, and we had lots of classes, lots of workshops with them, and also just sensitize the government agencies, and also Ministry of Education, and also police, municipality, or traffic police. And we also participate with a Renault company, and we asked them to help us in this project. But after a while, when they wanted to manipulate the education, we decided to stop. We are not here to continue this type of participations in this type. But many of our participatory projects are based on living values concept, and also long life or love for life as slogans. So in project continue until we had stopped, when we had no more support in our society. But a 1 week event was held in Tehran that was named New Mother. So there was a baby carriage in a subway station, and people just go and walk around with this baby carriages, and just pay attention to the road and to the street and to the alley around their city, if it is suitable for the baby carriages, for the pregnant mother, or for the whatever. But they just carry and pay attention to the maybe pedestrian bridge, or maybe the pedestrian line, and whatever in the world. And it resulted in listening, pay attention to issues, to create space, to consider the world bigger and more diverse.
Maybe I could add, listening to you opens up that even in a very dominant culture, we have spaces that make it possible to take over the power, to use the inner power. I think it's a wonderful description of this. The inner power, then to start to use it to have a power with others, to think about the changes we need in a place, because it's obvious that something has to be better than it was. We can't change everything, but there are certain things we can raise in the awareness. It's the power for. If we raise in the awareness, and if somebody wants to catch it, like you said, some of the companions try to take over your position for their own interests, then we also have the power to stop it, and to get back and step away back. So there's a lot of use of power in a situation that seems to be quite powerless, or where others try all the time to be dominant and have power over what's going on and keep it in their hands. And now we learn that it's possible to find ways to use power in a different way.
Yes, yes, of course. And also the last project that I want to mention in this part was the project that worked on identifying diversity of Iranian culture of children. So it was named after the country's Iran, and make a wish for our land, and also create a belongingness, and also increase sign of life to children. And we stand in this project awareness, change, and diversity in our country. So work on ethnic group, and also we went to trips and go to the region, and also just different dialect. And also we try to learn much more about the different foods, different, I don't know, costume or whatever, or different dialect in our country. And we believe when you know more about your place that you live, you will be more responsible for that place, and you also will be more good citizen in your country. So we think that you have to work with this group of children, this type of project. And also it happens that you will be responsible for the place and for be a good citizen, and there is no different wherever you live, you know, in Iran, in Europe, or wherever. So we had very specific project that came out from these, which named خورشید مردم. And خورشید مردم started when COVID happened, and we decided order to, familiarize children to with Iranian tribes. At first, we tried to connect with them online or call them, talk to them on the, such as social media and whatever. But then, after a long time, we had these challenges that online connection doesn't work, you know. And so we decided to, felt a lack of, in-person community, in-person participation. So we tried to travel to that places and talk with the people there. And also we tried to make them believe their capabilities, to make them believe their characteristics of being a human, and also being their region. They believe their region. And they talked about their, local food, the culture, the costumes, the, mother tongue even in this situation. And we try to prepare a video recording, and also we, published on social media, and try to send their voice to another people. At that time, that was very terrible, or very, that wasn't easy at all, you know. So maybe such a community project helps to be more in a relationship with other people, and let you to be more responsible for your country, and then your city, and then your school, and even in your life, I think.
So yes, within the context in which we are usually speaking about democracy in non-democratic environments, a series of disadvantages are present, such as authoritarianism, exclusion, alienation, standardization of learning. So from our perspective, we understand participation as a balance in between individual freedoms and the collective good. And I'm going to share with you 3 examples coming from democratic schools. The first of them is the school meeting, in which they are involving every member of society, of the learning community, children, adults. Everyone has one voice, one vote. And young people are involved into deciding about curricular issues, the timetable, how to rearrange the spaces as valuable members of society. For that, it is required to have some ground rules, such as respect, understanding how turn-taking works, how to listen actively to others. In some cases, the school meeting is looking for a majority rule, deciding by majority what could happen, what are the decisions that affect them. In some of the cases, they are looking for consensus, everybody sharing the same idea. In the sociocratic example, they are looking for consent meaning that everybody's voice is taken into account, but the decision is reached only when everybody feels comfortable with that decision. These opportunities provide a valuable experience for young people to become involved in community, not only within their schools or their learning environments, but also at a wider level. So there have been cases in which young people and the schools get in contact with local authorities in order to influence positively the living conditions or the community conditions. The second example is a proposal called the 20% approach. This proposal emerged from the 2016 conference on democracy and education sponsored by the Council of Europe, and promotes the idea that young people, learners, have the right to account for 20% of the school timetable in order to get deep into their interests, their concerns, their learning skills. And this involves also the school meetings, demands that teachers change their role and become facilitators of possibilities, modeling, mirroring, providing the spaces, safe spaces for young people to participate. And the third example has to do with restorative circles in schools. This means that whenever there are conflicts, the goal is not to punish the perpetrators or the person involved, but rather to involve the community, to listen to each other, and to try to find solutions that would restore the relationship, that would allow for people to reach flexible solutions, agreements that would make it so that the learning environment is inclusive, safe, and welcoming to everybody's opinions.
The examples that we have heard from the other group members have showed that participation of children and youth may take different forms and may take on different meaning as well. So what is common to all the types of participation is that they are subversive acts. So they are interventions, projects, or strategies that try to overturn the power structures and relations, the traditional power structure and relations. For example, Ines was talking about unlearn structures that are normally taken for granted. At the beginning of the video, Shichong said that the traditional relationship between teachers and students tend to impose not only contents, but also way of learning, and they don't leave much freedom to students. So there is a need to change this, not only because we want to spread democratic values, but also because they are more effective ways of learning. So processes of learning that foresee authentic and self-directed contents, and that help students to self-determine throughout all the aspects of the learning process. And this goes beyond the walls of the classroom and even the walls of the schools. And as we saw with the example that Maryam mentioned, and also at the beginning, Baran, the action of students, the participation of students brings also something to the community. They can even reach the highest level of the political powers. The ministry at least tries to do that. And it can produce a development in the community. So there is an exchange, a bidirectional dialogue between students or maybe learners, as we said, and the whole community. Both of them are somehow learning and are transforming throughout the process. Another thing that I think it's important to point out about participation is that there are different views on this topic, and this also depends on the context, on the constraints of the situation, and also on the facilitator that you can find in a specific community. Some would like to see participation as a more radical approach to society change, and to transforming structures and institutions. So, for example, in this case, participation of children and youth would mean also having a parliament or a council within the political discourse at national or regional level, or even contributing in changing the curriculum, the national curriculum. Others have others examples of participation are like smaller steps, as for example Charlie mentioned. So small strategies, interventions, or ways of learning that give some freedom to students and help them self-determinate in their daily life in schools. The choice of the type of participation depends by the situation, by the views of the people who are involved in this process. What we agreed on together is that children need some certain level of support in order to flourish, and they need many facilitators around. And so it's also a matter of adults to create the condition and the circumstances to make them flourish within the society as citizens right from the beginning, as you said, Ines.
I would like to recover the two concepts that you two have put forth. The first one is unlearning multiple ways, unlearning, understanding that there are multiple ways to participate within a community. And the other one is the release of power, allowing for young people to experience shared decision making, to being able to consider different perspectives, and effectively, consolidate this citizenship approach, which is so necessary in our societies.
Thank you for listening to the podcast of All Means All. In the show notes, there is a link to the chapter in the open textbook. There you can find the transcript of the video and more information on the topic.